I just woke up. I think it's about 4:30 in the morning. And I woke up with the old time saying where you can't have your cake and eat it too. But I woke up with a different translation. The translation, the the old way that I used to hear it, you can't have your cake and eat it too. God woke me up with the saying, you can have your cake and eat it too. The old way of translating that, interpreting that saying was, I'm dealing with spiritual matters, which also represents here in the natural what's going on naturally. The interpretation of the old way was you can't have your cake, was meaning spiritually. When we have God in our lives, that's what that's what we desire. That's the best thing, having God in our lives, following God's ways, living through God's principles, living out of God's character, living out of God's thoughts, having a godly lifestyle. So by eating our cake, by eating our cake or having our cake, which we're going to interpret as God, and then by turning it around, by wanting to eat it, meaning this is how this is how I read it as I was researching that saying on Google. They gave scriptures that was like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, by meaning you can't have God and your way too. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But that saying never made sense to me. Who wants to have a cake and not be able to eat it? So, for as long as I've been hearing this saying or knowing of this saying, I can admit it never resonated with me, because who wants a cake and not be able to partake of that cake? So what God woke me up with this morning was, you can have your cake and eat it too. So what God was sharing with me before I went to looking on Google or anything, in my spirit, God was telling me that, going along with the lessons that I've had for about a week now, or more, maybe two. I don't think it's quite 2 weeks of God letting me know about. No, it hasn't. Time go by so fast. But workers' wages, that has kind of like been the center of the study for about a good week. First it was stirring in my spirit, then I went to looking it up, researching it, studying it. So with the prompting in my spirit to wake me up saying, you can have your cake and eat it too, and following the same theme of regarding workers' wages, it's time for us to receive our just wages. God was showing me in my spirit that when we work, whether it's being for God and for our natural uh, uh, jobs here in this natural realm. And yesterday we broke it down. Your job is your trade, your career, your profession, your purpose, your calling. So when we have that, and if this natural world is paying us and not God, but they're giving us what they're uh, estimating our value of, giving us crumbs. Here's where the peak of the dream, or not dream, but the statement in my spirit. Here is what God said after he said, you can have your cake and eat it too. He described it to me, interpreted it to me as they've been paying us crumbs. Their way of giving us our wages was with crumbs. The Bible say even dogs deserve the crumbs under the table. But are we dogs? See now the spirit is kicking in to speak through my voice box, because now I'm getting more deep revelation of it. Are we dogs? Why are we settling for crumbs? But this is how God interpreted it. Even if they're giving us crumbs, we better take them crumbs and make a cake. I don't care. We have to let them crumbs add up. That's a lot of adding up and saving. See, now my mind going all kind of ways, but I feel like it's the spirit opening up, going deeper into what he's interpreting in my spirit towards. We better take those crumbs and build them, add them up, multiply, let God multiply those crumbs. Oh, hallelujah. This thing getting sweet. Taste and see how sweet it is. Okay, we better take those crumbs and let God multiply them. We've gone beyond the adding the crumbs. That's a long time. Woo, boy, Father, you so good. That's a long time to save crumb by crumb by crumb. It can happen because we've been doing it. In the past, that's what we've been doing. Taking the little crumbs that they give us and trying to make a cake out of it and wanting to eat it too. They wouldn't even allow us to eat it too. I'm talking about different things in our lives that has been robbing our cake. They damn sure, God forgive me, didn't give us the cake. They gave us the crumbs. So we had to make a cake from the crumbs, which that was very time consuming, very hard labor. A lot went into saving crumbs and then adding all those crumbs up, adding. And then we couldn't even hardly add the crumbs up because, like I said, they wouldn't even allow us to eat the cake if we did add up years of saving, and now we want to bake a cake with the crumbs we collected. God says the multiplying of those crumbs, God is elevating us to receive the multiplication of the crumbs, because we've had the adding and the subtraction, because once we collected up so many crumbs, we got all kind of hands reaching out to be given it, which was we couldn't have our cake and eat it too, because too many other people wanted parts of that cake. Utilities, everything, bills. We've accumulated so much stuff to be obligated to, responsible for. Some things are reasonable, and other things is just, just our whatever. We can't even eat our own cake because the money has to be put out in so many different ways. So many different ways that we didn't have a chance to marinate and just love ourselves by eating our own cake. We had to cut too many pieces for everybody else, and they had their portion that they required of that cake. And what were we left with? Another crumb. Woo! Oh my gosh. Another crumb. So God is raising our portion of our wages so that the laborers, the workers, can receive their just wages so that we can enjoy our cake. We don't mind giving out what we know it requires. But can we eat some too and not be back to a crumb? Yeah, it's like God saying that we can have our cake and eat it too. Meaning the life that we're being transitioned to, we're going to start enjoying it. And not so many other things taken away from us where we can't be content. It's like the being in the spirit, we content, but in this natural realm, it's still laborious. Where the way has been made hard for you not to enjoy your cake. But with God, He will take those crumbs that dogs have been eating under the table. He will take those same crumbs that we've been saving up enough crumbs to make a cake. And if you did get to the level of having the cake and you're ready to eat it, you got too many other hands out to divide that cake, and you still be back to square one, left with a crumb. So automatically we've entered adding, subtraction, division. Where's the multiplications in our lives? On this next level, we getting ready to experience the multiplications individually and as a oneness. So to have our cake, whether we're being distributed crumbs or not, God is going to set it to where those same crumbs will be multiplied, that we're able to make our cake, and that same cake, yeah, it'll be distributed for the purpose of keeping our lives together in proper order and for our pleasures, because we can eat it too. We can't make everybody else happy and not making ourselves happy. We're working so hard for the world and for everybody else. Where's our happiness and where is our fulfillment? Here in this natural realm, here with so many obligations and so many responsibilities and so many things we got to do and take care of, and when is it going to come back to us? When is the world going to treat us like we treat the world? When is people going to treat us like we treat people? That may never happen here in this natural realm. That may never happen. For one, the world ain't going to never be your friend. The world set you up and snatch it from you. If that was your foundation, if that was what you're basing and building your world upon from somebody else's world, if we don't know for certain that our world is built from God's blessings, to repeat the previous lessons, we got to know what foundations we're standing on. And when we're certain that we're standing on a godly foundation, as God as our leader, we'll be in the multiplying of those crumbs, where we can be happy too here in this natural world. Our joy comes from within, because the world can do any and everything out here. People can do any and everything out here to rob us of our joy. But you can't take away our joy. You could take away our happiness, because happy is like emotions. It fluctuates depending upon what's going on around us. But that joy, that's only from within. And the Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. So partaking of this cake, yes, we can have this cake and eat it too. Not everybody else. And we can't even have some of our own cake. We took forever to bake that cake. Now it's time to eat the cake and we got to give it all out and back to square one. Them days are over. Enough is enough. Workers receiving our just wages. Let it come from within first, that this outside realm can represent what's within your spirit. I want my cake, and I want to eat it too. I should be left with more than what I had to distribute out. Not what I wanted to distribute out. This is what I had to distribute out. Don't let what we had to distribute out be more than what we're left with. That's backwards. I want to be left with the size of cake I want to have by choice, not by I had to, I'm forced to. Because if I don't, in this natural realm, you'll think you won't survive if you don't. If you don't do this, if you don't pay this, if you don't do it like this, if you don't, in order to survive here in this natural realm. And you're left feeling hanging. You're left hanging. But yes, that's how God woke me up this morning. You can have your cake and eat it too. Yes, God is going to multiply the crumbs, even if that's all we've been receiving, even if that's all we're receiving now. We're in the multiplications. He's going to multiply those crumbs that we can have it enough to bake a cake and eat it too. Woo! Oh, how sweet it is. Guess we better be in that receiving hands wide open mode, standing on solid ground. To them who have ears to hear, let them hear. Have a blessed day.